There we go, needs no road. VTOL takeoff. Check this out. Hey guys, this is a Heewing T1 VTOL PNP that comes mostly pre-built with pre-configured VTOL parameters in the flight controller, so you no longer need to experiment painstakingly to make a VTOL RC plane. This already came so well tuned. I wasn't nervous at all during the Maiden. The flying, the transitions went so well, zero drama. There are a few steps required to make this fly VTOL out of the box, which most customers told us can be done within an hour. If you're looking to get one, check out our link in the description. Also, subscribe. This video will cover the build of the plane, the basic configuration of the radio, configuration in the mission planner, advanced configuration, adding FPV Video Transmission, and the Maiden Flight, which was awesome. So the VTOL version has a larger box than the standard T1. There's a shipping box that houses another 2 more layers of the packaging. So this is an actual packaging, super sturdy box, well protected inside. And the inside, there are 3 individual boxes as well. You got a box 1, which is the fuselage. Box 2 is the tail and rudder, your propellers, accessories, and also the wiring. You got a decal. Box 3 is the main wings. Wow, you can see and feel the high quality. Now let's get back to the box 1. You will find a goal here, which is the FX45 flight controller with VTOL parameters configured inside. You just need to calibrate your accelerometer, hook up a receiver, do the radio calibration, set out the flight mode, and then you'll be doing your first VTOL flight. GPS is installed at the front. You'll find aluminium foil down there to prevent the interference. But remember to glue it back. GPS wire goes to the GPS port over here. And you'll find your ESC as well. And remember, for the VTOL version, you're gonna fly this on a 4S. 3S is not powerful enough to hover, just like the standard T1. High quality foam, very stiff as well. Some may think that the rough surface is bad quality, but actually, as far as I understand, there is an aerodynamic reason on it. If you know the aerodynamic theory on the surface of the golf ball, you can see the similarity here. So this is to reduce the friction or resistance on the fuselage, on the body. As you see, it's like craters or dimples inward on the surface. If you look closely, box 2. Your tail components, elevator, this way around, your hatch, rudder, landing gears, which I'm not gonna use because I think it looks ugly on the T1. Propellers, this back is for the VTOL. There's a lock for the hatch, lock nut for the tail boom, battery mount and the strap, control horns, tail boom. This is not an antenna. This is for fishing or elevator servo wires, the connector from back to the front so they can connect it to your flight controller. And you have these wires and connectors here. One of it is the USB connector. So before you start building this, please go to the Heewing official website to download the manual. In this case, I'm going to install the body first instead of setting up the flight controller. This is a handy tool which is going to help you to pull the servo connector through the tail boom. You're going to slot it in from this side because this is the front. This is the rear. I'm going to hook it like that. And with just one pull, it's here. The U-shaped cut on the tail boom. This is the one facing upwards. So if you have positioned your U-shaped cut here accurately, when you push it in, you'll feel the resistance that something is aligned. And then you can also see the holes here aligned. You can see a true hole here. Also through the true hole here, make sure the wire is not blocking the wheel, otherwise you risk driving screw into your wires. You can see the very beautiful 7-gram metal gear here. Case is partially transparent, so you can see gold color gears inside. That's why this is so expensive. So to install the rudder, observe the clip over here. I'm gonna slot it in like that. There you go, you can hear a clip sound. If you look at the manual, these are 2 screws that you need to secure the rudder. And they're pretty easy to identify because there are no extra. These are 2 unique ones. You can see the marking here, the longer one, the shorter one. Have you heard the song?
Long one, short one. Long one, short one, which one do you want?
Our original song, I think, is Long Pan, Long Lao. So as simple as that. So cool. Now it's time to use the provided red nut to join the tail boom to the fuselage. Slot the wires through. So this is the facing of the nut. Slot the wires into the A-hole. And also there's a U-shaped cut here. If you have it pointed upwards, then when you slot it in, you can feel sort of like a clip. Then just turn the nut to secure it. If your tail boom is still slides out, even though it feels like quite tight, that means it's not tight enough. So you see it's still moving. I'm going to tighten it some more so it's not coming out anymore. The motor is facing upwards, perpendicular to the tail boom. The elevator or the tail servo, you're going to connect it to the S2 port on the flight controller, which is this one. You can see it's empty here. Observe the polarity. All the white colors are facing towards us. Best tool in the world for RC. Time to connect the tail motor to the tail ESC. Just follow the same color, black to black, orange to orange, red to red. So the motor orientation should be correct. If it's not correct, you just swap 2 of the 3 wires. So I'm going to just tuck in my ESC like that. I think it's quite secure. Next step is the battery mount. Slot the battery strap onto the wooden plate. Just like that.
How you like that?
Organize the GPS wires to one side. I'm going to just roughly use this location first. It's pretty middle. Align the holes. These are screws needed. Now you're going to install the steel linkage into the control horn. You want to set this length from end to end 46 mm. Okay, it's 46 mm. So I'm going to repeat with another 2. So now I have all 3 of this all set to 46 mm. Take out one of your main wing. We're going to install this control horn onto one of the control surface. On the servo side, you're going to install this piece through the hole. And on the other side, secure with this piece here. Use a plier or this tweezer to make sure that the lock is latched onto it so it's not coming out. This is really important. For extra security, I'm just going to add some hot melt glue. Carefully reposition the servo horn. This is risky if you do this on the plastic version of servo. You're going to slot in the linkages from this side using the hole furthest away from the center of the servo. Don't poke yourself. Then lash this onto the hole furthest away from the hinge. This is how it looks. The linkage length now may not be correct. Once you power this up in the manual mode with all your trim on the controller centered, you can start adjusting this again to make sure that the control surface is parallel to the wing surface. You can unhook this carefully not to break the pin, either turning clockwise or counterclockwise to adjust the length to alter the parallelness of the control surface to the wing. Once the length is confirmed, for extra security, you can put a heat shrink tube here or gas tube over here so that this doesn't pop off, but it has never happened before. Touch wood. Then just repeat the same thing on the other wing. Now I have both wings with linkages installed. The other side for your wheel wing. Repeat the same thing to the tail as well. Now time to install the main spar onto the fuselage and have the wing connected as well. So the left wing. So how do you know if it's properly secure or not? It's by hearing the click sound. Because there's this clip over here that locks onto the fuselage. Listen to this. That's the correct sound. If it's properly secured, when you wiggle the wing, you will see that the fuselage twists as well. If your wing is not properly secured, when you wiggle the wing, your fuselage does not move because it's not latched onto it. To unhook it, use your index finger and your thumb to depress on the clip a bit. And it will come out like that. Wow, it's looking good. It's taking shape. This is starting to look like an airplane now. Looking good. And those 3 behind me are the Hunter series, which is great for beginner, and it flies so well thanks to the receiver with the gyro stabilization. It's very smooth in a calm day. I used to like each of them. I started from the Lico, then the Cessna, and this is my latest favorite. First time I've flown it, I'm like super impressed with the gyro stabilization. It's so smooth. It's time to install this lock onto the main hatch. So you're going to install this plastic piece into the hole, and this is the facing. And for the lock, the flat side is facing outside. This is the flat side. Then push it in. Feel the clip. It's locked now. Oh, really well locked. There's a smaller hatch. It's for the rear. And ensure there's no wire over here as you slot it in. It's a snug fit. Then the big piece, slot it to the front. Then using this clip here to attach to the main spar. Ensure there's no wire here that get clips on. Look at the back, it's not closing completely. Yep, the wire is preventing me. So I've organized it and it goes all the way in now. That's the last one. I think it's not mentioned in the manual. Rear vent. Just a bit of glue. Tweezer comes in handy again. Here you go. Looks so good. The recommended battery for the T1 VTOL is 4S 150 to 250 gram. I have this 4S 1500 mAh. This is about 180 grams. So I'm gonna try this. This is just temporary to show you how you can check the CG on the T1, which is actually using this hook over here. So this is a pretty unique way to check for CG. For first flight, it's better to use the CG point more towards the front. So as you see in this case with a 4500 mAh, it's still tail heavy. It's either I'm going to add FPV camera at the front. If it's still not enough, then use a bigger battery or try to move the battery as forward as possible. So for now, we're going to use this CG point first for the maiden flight. I'm not going to hook up any propeller onto the motors first because I'm going to configure the flight controller. And once everything is confirmed, I'm just going to spin up the motor to confirm the motors are working correctly as well. Once everything is really final, very final, that everything is working well, then I'm going to install propeller right before the maiden flight. So Heewing says that there are only a few steps to configure to do your first VTOL flights, and that's true. So you're going to create a new model, and I'm just going to name this as demo first. Then go to another page once this is done. So at the mix channel, Heewing had the flight mode change channel on the channel 6. I'm going to show you a simple one first, which is just 3 position switch for just 3 flight modes. You press on this and then move your 3 position switch. If you go to your control menus, if you move your 3 position switch, it's going to display 3 different values. Say for example this page, minimum, neutral and max. That's it, pretty simple from here. I'm using this Radio Master R81. You can check out a link in the description as well on where you can get this because it's so tiny, smaller than my index finger. My receiver is bound now, as I can see telemetry feedback here. So if I unplug the battery,
telemetry lost.
that means it was bound. So now I'm gonna mount my S-Bus receiver onto the RC in port on the flight controller. S-Bus is using 3 wires. If you're using Crossfire or ELRS, then there will be 4 wires. TX of the receiver should go to the RX on the flight controller. Always make sure the polarity is correct. Now we're going to connect our flight controller to Mission Planner. Have a battery prepared because the USB is not going to power the receiver. With the USB adapter provided, plug this to the USB port on the flight controller. Then the other end, plug it to your PC and wait for the music, the tone. So I have the battery plugged in as well, and my receiver has light now. Open your Mission Planner and go to the COM port. Usually the latest one is the one with the highest number. Select on it, then click connect. This is what I like to see. Do not upgrade the firmware just yet. There will be another video for this. There will be an announcement made later on. Then go to a setup, acceleration, calibration. You could do just the normal one, the leveling. This one will just calibrate the accelerometer on just one axis. Whereas this one, you're going to place it onto his side, onto his nose, and on his back as well. Let's do the first one, calibrate level. So you're going to make sure that your plane is not moving. It is placed still on the floor or on the table. In this case, I had something down there to raise the tail a bit. Otherwise, the front actually is higher than the rear. Next one, go to the radio calibration page. This is where you're going to calibrate your radio because everyone's radio is a little bit different on the values. So if you play around with your stick now, you can see the values are moving. We're going to start calibrating video. Just follow the precautions over here. There's no props. And click OK. And then now click OK. And now's the time to move all your sticks to the maximum position. Basically your 2 sticks and also your 3 position switch as well. Once it's done, click when done. And then ensure all the sticks are centered and throttle is down. So my sticks are centered and then throttle is down. And click OK. And then it will show you these new values. Alright, next will be the flight modes. So these are preset flight modes from the factory. If I flip my 3 position switch now, the middle position will be fly-by-wire A, and then the max position will be QRTL, which is return to home in VTOL mode instead of the fixed wing return to home. Q loiter means loitering in VTOL mode, and then you can use this for taking off and also for flying as well. Q loiter means there's GPS assist, you hold your position, whereas FBW air is a fixed wing mode with a certain assist. Now it's a FBW air mode. If I flick it to Q loiter, it will move up and go into a VTOL mode. Just a tip, now at the position away from us, if you look at here, away from us is a Q loiter mode. This is for your VTOL GPS assisted VTOL flying mode. Then to the middle is a fixed wing mode, and I pull it towards me. This will be Q return to home. Make it a habit that if something goes wrong, when you need a return to home feature, that's when you pull the switch towards you, sort of like asking it to come back. I'm using S-Bus and it works straight away because from the factory, parameters are configured for S-Bus. Flight control will auto detect it. But if you are using ELRS or Crossfire, you're gonna go to BRD order config. This one you change it to 1, and then we go to serial 6 protocol. You're gonna change serial 6 protocol from -1 to 23, which is RC in 23. Click write params, and then to confirm it. But in my case, I'm using S-Bus, so I'm just gonna refresh it back to the earlier parameters. By now, you can actually go flying, but as a responsible pilot, you should actually do pre-flight check, which is the flight control surface, direction, and actually also the response of the motor, whether they're spinning the correct direction and also giving the correct authority or not, which is during VTOL mode, when you want to roll right, that means dipping the right wing, the RPM on the right motor should decrease RPM, and the left motor should increase its RPM. So first thing we're going to check is we're going to switch it to a fixed wing mode, which is FPV WA. I'm going to roll left. Left aileron comes up. That's correct. And if I roll right, then left, and then right aileron comes up. So I'm mode 1, so my elevator is on the left. So if I pitch, the elevator is supposed to come up so that the plane pitch up. So what I'm going to do is go to my radio. So elevator is on channel 2. So next page, go to channel 2, edit, and direction, we select inverse to reverse our elevator control. So now if I pull my elevator comes up, so that's correct. Another thing you're gonna check is in the FBWA mode, if I roll my wing, my right aileron control surface drops, that means it will bring the wing up. So when the plane pitch up, the elevator should move down, so it will push the nose down, so it's reacting correctly. And if the plane pitch down, then elevator comes up to pitch the nose up again. So next we're going to check in VTOL mode whether the motors are reacting correctly or not. So I'll apply tapes on the motor instead of propeller, but it's actually very hard to tell when the motors are spinning which one is increasing speed or decreasing speed. The propeller direction, the tail is counterclockwise, the right one is counterclockwise, the left one is clockwise. You can see the profile here. If you can't tell which is spinning clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now we're going to check if our control direction in a VTOL mode is correct or not. You're going to hold onto your plane securely. First thing you're going to do is to unlock the plane. Since I need one hand to record, you're going to pull your rudder max right to unlock the flight controller. In the Q loiter mode, the motor will start spinning slowly as soon as the motors are disarmed. Hold it for about 4 seconds. Then it'll start spinning slowly. And then you're going to raise throttle just a little bit first. And before that, please hold your plane securely. Increase the throttle. And then now push the pitch forward. So see if you can feel it. So my plane is pitching forward. And if I pull back, so it pitches down. So control is correct. And then next would be the aileron. I'm rolling to the left. So it's rolling to the left. So roll right, it's rolling to the right. And then the yaw, the rudder is harder to tell. So you try to feel it with your palm. So far it's correct for me. I'm doing left yaw and then now doing right yaw. So if I go maximum and it does move. Yep, so that's correct. Then after that you're gonna test whether the stabilization on VTOL mode is correct or not. I'm going to throttle up. So it's quite hard to tell, but then you can see it's fighting it. If I pitch it forward, if I pitch it down, it actually stable itself actually. So it's really hard to tell, so you're just going to go find a very wide open space and test it. To stop the motor from spinning, you're going to pull your rudder maximum left and then your motor will stop spinning. Alright, I can't wait to give it a try, so I'm just gonna hover indoor first. I have a small battery in front, so I expect tail heavy and see how it goes. So make sure that there is for VTOL takeoff, you're gonna use Q loiter mode to take off. Indoor there is no GPS now, so there will be no GPS assist. First thing to do is to hold rudder max right for about 4 seconds. So the controls are correct, rolls are working, but my altitude hold is not working that well, it's like going up. So pitch are correct as well. Rudder control is very good. Now I'm going to show you how I fully utilize the 6 available flight modes over here by mixing the 3 position and 2 position switch over here. In this case, I'm using channel 5, so if you want to follow me to use channel 5 as a flight mode change, then you can go to config, then scroll to flight mode channel, switch it to 5, and then click right params and confirm. And then when you flick the switch,
return to launch, hover mode.
Then it will show the different modes here. For mixing 3 position and 2 position switch, the setting is as this. And to create a sound and also telling you which mode, for example now it's in loiter and manual, you go to model and then you're going to create the logical switch first. Setting like this. For the sound, these 6 settings. For showing the flight mode name on the screen, setting is here. Now it's in manual. If I put to stabilize, say stabilize, cruise, and say cruise, and I have it the same thing over here. Then Q loiter, where it says hover. Q RTL is return to launch in VTOL mode, and then RTL is the normal fixed wing return to home mode. So it display the same thing over here. So I have it Q RTL and also RTL. This is in Chinese. So then we're going to install camera and VTX, and then we can go to a large space to do the actual flying. And after that, I'm going to show you how to update the bootloader of this to the correct board ID so that you can do firmware upgrade normally, as there's a V4.4 firmware has already came out, which you're going to test and verify. So before Maiden Flight, I have my video system installed. VTX here, this is the AKK Ultimate. There's a Runcam FPV camera at the front. For the wiring, you can refer to the Heewing official website, the instruction manual site. Left is the VTX, which is actually outputting about 9 point something volt. This is the camera for the camera at the front, which I like. There's a red color wire, that's 5 volt. Onto the right, which is blank, that is a 12 watt output, so that this camera can easily support 5 volt camera or 12 watt camera. The VTX mount, I designed it by replacing the original air vent at the back. There's hole also that allows air from the front to exit here, and then at the same time cool down the other side of the VTX as well. So that's very neat, right? It's also small, rather than changing or reprinting the entire rear cover. That's of course if you have a small form factor VTX, unlike some they have a really large one, so they're using this rear cover. Added this padding over here, organize the wire mesh at the back, have my tiny receiver here, and before Maiden Flight, be sure to set your fail-safe in case something goes wrong. At least you have your RTH to save you. My Radio Master R81 outputs RSSI on the channel 9 through the S-bus. So first I'm going to set RSSI type to type 2, which is RC channel PWM value. Then you're going to refresh the params. Then only it will show RSSI channel over here, which you set to channel 9 because I want to calibrate my main voltage as well. It's displayed as 15.37 over here. If we go to the parameter setting, battery voltage multiplier is about 7.81. On our buzzer here, it's shown 15.4, so that's accurate. As for the battery M draw calibration is over here, which I'm gonna set it later today. I have also flipped my flight mode 1 and flight mode 2 the other way around, so stabilize will be the first flight mode. When I'm flying stabilize, if I want to go to the VTOL mode, I just pull my second switch. They'll be in the hover mode, in the Q loiter mode. And I think that's about it. We can go for Maiden tomorrow. And then it freaking rained. I traveled all the way here, far from the city, to do a Maiden safely. But it rained. Alright, Maiden day. The rain has finally stopped. It was raining on and off. And then, so before fly, you're going to do your pre-flight check. I have checked that my control surface are parallel to the wing. In fact, it wasn't, so I have to adjust the linkages down there. So make sure you have GPS lock with sufficient lock. You can see it from your OSD. If you don't have an OSD, if you don't have FPV, then when there's a GPS lock on the FC itself, actually you can see red and green light blinking alternatively. And also to make sure that you have your clip all secured so your wing doesn't come off mid-flight or during launch especially. And so we can go for maiden flight on my first VTOL takeoff. Okay, then next thing to do, or last thing to do, ensure the CG is correct. Mine is, I think, is a little bit tail heavy if I use the CG at the front. I'll be taking off from Q loiter. Whenever I just flick this switch, it will change it between Q loiter and also stabilize mode. Okay, maiden takeoff. You're gonna hold rather full right for about 4 seconds to unlock the motors. So you see it start spinning slowly. Then can gradually raise your throttle. Hey, it's not going. Oh, I have my engine lock here. So now it's engine on. Woo, that's so cool. Okay, it is. Oh, somehow I think it feels a little bit weird. It's not holding properly despite on a Q loiter. There's supposed to be GPS hole, so I guess you can't expect much from other plane GPS hole, but it does fly really smooth. It hovers so smooth, you see. And so let's confirm the controls are all correct. Pitch forward, pull back. I got enough authority. If you're on 3S, most likely you're gonna have issue. But now altitude hold is actually, I think, holding fine now. I think if it's close to the ground, then I think the altitude hold is not so good. So it's so sluggish on Q loiter mode. So we're gonna raise the throttle, bring it up higher, and then we go fixed wing mode. So that's the first transition. I think I give it a bit of forward speed first, and then move to fixed wing. Oh, actually transit very well. And stabilize mode. I think stabilize mode is very strong. It's holding very strong. So too bad we got noise in the background. I think it's flying fine. It's so smooth. It's so quiet. There's no sound. Someone is laying the foundation, so that was so noisy compared to the plane. This is tractor and a very quiet tractor. So it flies really well. I got nothing to say. I'm not feeling nervous at all. This is so nice. It's so smooth. There's no sound. The Atom RC Penguin, that new plane, was very nerving. This is so smooth. So probably I need to readjust my leveling, because in stabilized mode now it is dropping. My nose is dropping. So I'm gonna just trim it manually first with my trim. Say now we're gonna transit back to Q loiter. I'm gonna flick the switch and see what happens. Oh, it's okay to slowly slow down, handle for you. This is so easy. So I think the parameters is fine. It's smooth and no issue so far. This is great. And I'm descending. And I descend really slowly because there's a lot of prop wash under the wing. You're gonna drop a lot of altitude to really drop it down. My buzzer set at 3.5, so it's not making noise yet. It's so cool, right? Almost VTOL out of the box, and then you're hovering.
So if you want the altitude to hold properly, then gonna be some distance above the ground. Otherwise, it will go hover up and down. I was testing it indoor, but altitude hold is hovering so well now, and it's after rain, so the air is very calm as well. But somehow it's like not holding position that well, right? Okay, it does. Still moving, so I guess maybe it's the trim. But I guess this is to be expected from Hadu Pilot. The GPS hold is not as good as DJI. I guess it has a little bit of a toilet bowl effect as well, which is a signature of APM since many years ago. Hands-free, and it's still moving backward. So gonna check that. So let's do fixed wing mode again. It's so cool, man. Okay, let's just go fixed wing mode from standstill. Oh, it's able to handle that. I think the tractor configuration helps. It just flies so nice. There's nothing to complain. I think Heewing also got the stabilized PID right. That's why it's holding well. We are about 6 minutes into our flight already. That's not bad. My buzzer is not buzzing yet. So I think 4S 1500 is quite heavy for it, but it feels like it's just flying fine. You don't feel heavy at all. It's holding so well. It's definitely a well-designed plane by someone who knows what he's doing. George, I think it was George designed this. He mainly decide on the direction of this. But it definitely, now after 6 minutes, I had to have at least about 60% throttle to hover in fixed wing mode. So on OSD we are 14.8 now, so I'm gonna land this on a VTOL mode. And I'm gonna just go lower so we don't need to wait so long for it to drop down in a VTOL mode. So VTOL now. Woo! That's so cool. It's crazy cool. So it does manage the braking for you, I believe, because there's this Q loiter. I think we got headwind, and the forward speed is not that good. Probably they added some limit to it. Unfortunately, we got a really wet ground, but at least it won't be that sandy. Hey, look at this! Whee! Try to land on the pad, can I? Right, just hold the throttle down and then remember to disarm it by max rudder left, so you stop completely, and have a manual engine lock switch as well. So that's it. No drama. This is literally almost PNP VTOL out of the box. You just need to perform that few steps and then you're good to go. There's nothing to worry. It behaves properly. There's no weird behavior. This is amazing. So if in the future they release one with radio included, then probably a lot more people can play this. It will be literally just fly and play, because it's remote is even configured, because now the remote is not included. Everyone has their own remote, and everyone has their own VTX as well, or their digital video analog system. So awesome. So if you're interested, I mean, this is definitely a good buy. A lot of people say that it's cheap at this price point, and I may return to launch. So that's why if you did not disarm your plane, if you accidentally flick any switch, then the propeller will just start. So always remember to disarm when you're not flying. So if you're interested, check out our Heewing official site, link in the description. Subscribe if you have not done so. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Click the left thumbnail for latest video, or smash the subscribe button on the middle of the screen. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.